Good evening, Political Science 101 class. My name is Jillian Jacobs.
And I am Trevor Howard reporting to you live from Jillian's kitchen.
Today we'll be discussing answered questions regarding a summary of Glenn Greenwald's No Place to Hide.
Yeah, after reading the 30-minute summary, we have conducted a few answers to questions asked by our viewer, Professor Samuels. So, Jillian, what do you think the relationship is between democracy and privacy?
I would say that, as mentioned in the book, people can't feel free and comfortable being themselves if they feel like a third party is watching them. Because the NSA has completely violated every aspect of American and foreign lives through phone calls, internet, email, personal information. They have partnered with companies such as Google, um, Facebook, YouTube, AOL. All of these companies have partnered up with the NSA so that they can basically spy on us. And I'd say that the relationship between the democracy and the privacy is non existent because the government has stripped that away from the American people. But what would you say, or would you say that you agree or disagree with the author's main premise, and what would you say that is?
I would say that the main point Greenwald made is in the fourth chapter, where he states, and I quote, "Transparency is for those in public service, and privacy is for a country's citizen." I'd agree with his point because nobody wants to be spied on, and journalists are constantly writing watchdog articles in order to make the government more transparent for the people.
I'd have to agree with you. I know I feel tremendously outraged after finding this out through Greenwald's book. I had never even heard of this until this class. The worst part is the government's not being held accountable for their actions, but instead, Edward Snowden was seen more as insane and wrong rather than inspiring and honest to other journalists who always and only comply with government rules.
Thank you for your input. Now, the last question our viewer has submitted is how the various media outlets covered Snowden's leaks about the NSA spying on average American citizens, and what was your reaction to it?
Well, seems like the Washington Post was thought to be following a play-by-play and could possibly forewarn the government that they were leaking secret files as part of unquoted rules of a journalist is like something that's unwritten in the book. They did in fact beat The Guardian in publishing one of the first articles with much less information and comments from involved internet companies like YouTube and Google.
Yeah, and that being said, The Guardian also had 4 stories lined up to be published, and every single article published from all of the included newspapers raised media madness. But what would you say your reaction was to it?
I was a bit shocked that so many reporters were involved, and frankly, I'm upset that more journalists in the end were so negative and hostile towards Greenwald, calling him insane and a co-conspirator.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that as well. I feel as though Greenwald and more reporters should have conducted the reports on their own so as to not have the files at risk of a security breach and, to not report fully and in the greatest detail.
I'd have to agree with you. That was a great response, and I hope this newscast has answered all of our viewers' questions.
Join us next week as we discuss all of our summer plans and our opinions on the presidential election. Thank you and good night.